MTV's Teen Mom 2. You guys, it premieres Tuesday, September 10th at 8 o'clock. Jade, are you there? Jade. Hi,
Yes.
Jade.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, welcome to my show, my love.
Hi, I'm glad to be here.
You know what? I got to tell you, I'm really happy that you're part of this crew now.
Oh, good. I'm happy. So I'm like, you see a lot of stuff online. People are like, no new people, kill her. And other people are like, yeah, we love her.
Well, you know what? The stuff that I saw was they were very supportive. They were like, I like her. I think she's a perfect addition to the cast. I mean, a lot of people know you from Teen Mom, right?
Yeah.
Teen Mom,
Young and Pregnant.
Yes.
Yeah, where I started.
How did you find out the news?
I was at school and like, my producer was like, hey, come outside. And it was really weird and awkward. And I was like, what the fuck's going on? Everyone just standing around me, like, being awkward. And all the cameras start coming up. And I'm like, what the hell? And then the producer from, like, Teen Mom 2 comes out. She was like, hi, I'm Kristen. And I'm like, okay, what's this got to do with me? Like, what are we doing? And she was like, yeah, we like your story so much that we want you to be on Teen Mom 2. Like, we think you're a perfect fit. Would you like to be on it? And I was just like, sure. And then, like, that was it.
So no hesitation.
Yeah, I was just like, sure. I'm like, yeah, because it's a bigger show. It's also been on for a long time, so obviously they take everybody more seriously. And I feel like with Teen Mom 2, a lot goes on, so they're more, they have a lot more empathy.
They do. I hope.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a lot, you know, just of pressure and stress in your own life. Does it feel like it adds more to it, or could it be therapeutic for you?
I guess it doesn't really add. It doesn't add more. I feel like my new producer that I have is really, really good at, you know, communicating with me and making sure that I'm always happy and comfortable, and like anything I'm discussing, it's on my time and no one's like pressuring me or pushing to pull things out of me, which is really good.
It is.
But I'm always open too. I've always been very open about my story, because I feel like if you sign a contract to tell your life, I mean, you can't sit around and constantly try to hide things or sweep stuff under the rug, because it eventually will come out. So it's like I like to just be out and open and just kind of be honest about everything, and like initially.
Well, that's one of the things I think that people really like you, is that you're open and honest, you're vulnerable, you're articulate, and you do have a desire to make your life and your daughter's life better.
Yeah.
You're trying.
Yeah, I actually finish school here soon, which I'm really excited about. I've been in it for ever. And I'm like, I'm so ready to be done.
I'm really proud of you. Are you going to open that salon someday that you were hoping?
Yeah, hopefully. I've thought about like working in, you know, a nice salon somewhere around where I live, because I live like right downtown area. So I figured I'd work in a salon for a little bit to kind of get the vibe and, you know, educate myself thoroughly of the business and how things are to be run, because I'm like, it's not really smart to start a business and just jump in it and you don't have any idea how things are going. So I'm like, yeah, I'll definitely work somewhere for a while and then hopefully get to open up my own place soon, which would be really cool.
I hope so too. Now, you came in after Janelle was let go. Has she tried to reach out to you?
No.
No. And did you watch the show? Did you see her story?
No, I never really watched Teen Mom. So, like, when I got on Teen Mom, I started, you know, following the Twitters and stuff like that. So I would see bits and pieces. So I never really knew much about, like, any of the girls except, you know, just the gist of each person. Like, when I got on the show, when I would go to meet them at TRL shows and stuff. But no, I didn't really know much about anybody. But I mean, I have so much going on in my own life. I don't give a shit about nobody else's life or what they got going on. I don't care to talk about these girls. I don't care to do anything like that. I'm like, I feel like all these other, like, I'm not with the drama. Like, I got so much going on. I have no time at all.
You don't have time to be.
No.
Do you interact with the other girls on the show in the season?
On Teen Mom 2?
Yeah.
Kind of, like, I talk to Brianna kind of here and there, and like I've met with Kale a few times. We did a few shows. I was on, you know, coffee combos, but I don't really talk to any of them like on like a friend basis, kind of just like a hey, how are you? Like when we see each other, you know, obviously, hey, how are you? Like, but I don't really talk, I guess, like have a relationship yet. But I'm like, I just started the show too, so I know they're all kind of like, you know, I'm new. I'm not trying to jump up and be like right in everyone's face. I'm like just keeping it chill and just kind of doing my own thing.
Do you feel welcomed in this group?
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like anyone's, I guess, upset about it. I mean, everyone seems to be happy and everyone seems to be super cool with it. So
Yeah,
That's
I
good.
like I said, I think you're a really good choice, and I love the fact how honest and vulnerable that you are. I know that you did talk about your relationship with your mom, and I think so many people can relate to this. But I found it so fascinating how you're really the parent to your parents.
Yeah, it wasn't always like that. I feel like a lot of things happened when I was younger, and it kind of made my parents go through like this depression and completely change, because my mom, she used to, I mean, she's had her issues here and there, but she's always been a good mom. And I mean, obviously she raised me with a lot of good morals and values, and that's why I'm such the hardworking woman I am today. Obviously I get that from my mother, but I feel like a lot of people see what they see on TV now and think she's like this horrible monster, and she's not. I mean, she's my mom. I love my mom, and I'll always love my mom no matter what happens. But I feel like I don't like the fact that people constantly like dog her out like she's this horrible person, because I'm like, she's really not. She comes off mean, but I feel like that's just how, I don't know, she's always been like that, like tough love, like toughen me up. I was never allowed to cry when I was little. Like she was always really tough with me. But with my brother, she wasn't the same way. I think she just kind of knew that I could handle it, I guess, the toughness and everything. But I feel like she's made her own mistakes, and I don't hold that over her head, because people do make mistakes.
No, and it's amazing how much we love our parents no matter what. No
Right.
matter how much they might fuck up,
Right.
we still love them. And you did. I remember a conversation you had about talking when you were pregnant, saying like she was worried that you were going to hold her grandkids away from her, and you're like, you know what, I'm not. But if there's going to be drugs involved, I'm not going to. And
Yeah.
that's a boundary that you set. Do you still have those boundaries?
I mean, of course, with everybody in my family, I make boundaries, because you're not going to stress me out and piss me off and expect me to still have you in my life, because I have so much shit going on. I've cut out a lot of like family members and just friends and people that are putting extra stress on me. So, I mean, my mom knows, like everyone knows the deal with me. Like, don't play with me. Like I would not let my kid come around you. I won't deal with you. I'll block your number. I don't have the time.
I will weed that garden.
Right.
That's what we say here. We'll weed that garden, let other ones bloom. And how is she doing now? Is she still is she still struggling? Because I know you basically describe them as like a binge addicts. Like they're fine and then they're rough, and it's like a roller coaster.
Yeah, I feel like with my relationship with my mom's always been like that, though. It's always been kind of like an up and down kind of roller coaster type of thing. But I mean, I guess you'll just have to see in the show how it plays out, like
But
where we are.
you do still try to give her help and get her help, but she just doesn't want it.
Not necessarily. I guess you'll just have to see in the show, because I don't want to say anything to like spoil anything, I guess.
Right. And how is your daughter doing?
She's good. She's so smart. She's about to be 2 on the 18th, and throwing her like a big party. I'm really excited. She's really smart. She knows every letter in the alphabet. She can count to 10. She like talks almost in full sentences, which I guess I don't know shit about kids. So like people are like, your kid's so smart, and I'm like, I don't even know. I'm like, I thought that was just her, and everyone's like, she's so smart, and I didn't realize
How old
it.
is she?
She's 1.
Oh wow.
But she'll be
Full
I mean she'll be
sentences.
2 like on the 18th of this month. So I mean she's almost 2, but
And then how's your baby daddy? Is he still in the picture?
I mean, I feel like he's around, but I mean, you kind of have to watch the show to see what happens exactly with everything. Because my life changes a lot, and a lot of things happen, and my life is just a big ol', I mean, I should be on a show. It's a shit show, I was like, I always said that. I was like, man, I should be on a TV show. My life is just fucking weird.
What makes you want to hold on to him?
I mean, I wouldn't say hold on. I don't need to like hold on to anybody. I feel like what I do is for my kid. So I want my kid to be happy. So obviously having a father around, having grandparents around, having all these people that if they're non-toxic and they're supportive, I want them to be around.
Is Sean a good dad?
I wouldn't say he's a bad dad. I wouldn't say, I feel like he has some growing up to do. That's for sure.
Is he still playing video games?
Yeah.
Does he have a job yet?
Yeah.
Ugh, it's got to be so hard. I feel your pain. I mean, I do feel like you have a lot of like plates to fucking juggle and the weight on your shoulders.
Yeah, I know. I do a lot. I feel like I do it. I feel like I do it good though. Like, I mean, I juggle everything and I keep shit pushing, and I don't sit around and I hate when people, I'm like, don't feel bad for me. Like, I got my own shit handled. I'll always have my own shit locked down and like everything. So I hate when people are like, oh my God, I feel so bad. I'm like, girl, do not feel bad for me. I'm out here doing my shit, handling my shit. I'll always be that way. Like, no matter what, no matter who's in my life, if I have nobody, like, I will always be okay.
Yeah, you feel like you look to me like a juggernaut. You can get through anything. How do you make sure that you looking at your life, you can see a lot by watching yourself on a show.
Right.
But where can you say, you know what, I still need to change and grow in this specific area?
I don't think I have a specific area. I feel like throughout your life, you should always prosper and change and grow, and you should always learn from, things in your past. I feel like a lot of the arguing, and I feel like me and him have always kind of argued a lot, but my childhood, that was normal. Like, everyone was very argumentative. Everyone always said exactly how they felt. So I feel like that's one thing I need to change the cycle of, is to not be so argumentative, kind of be more mature, conversational, keep things at, I guess, not so, I don't even know how to explain
Explosive?
it. Yeah, I feel like I'm very passionate all the time, and it shows. Like, I'm real passionate about shit. But I feel like there's times that I need to step back, collect myself, and kind of just keep it more together. I feel like it shows a lot of education and willpower if you don't just blow up and you kind of sit and talk about things. But I feel like also when you're in a very mature mindset and everyone around you is not in that mindset, it kind of is aggravating. You know what I mean? It feels like you're trying to be mature, and I feel like if there's a lot of people around you not on the same page as you, it's kind of hard to do that.
It is, especially when you're trying to like spiritually evolve,
right?
But everyone else is kind of keeping you down.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's where it's good that you're making boundaries and going, you know what, you have to stay away,
right?
And especially with our kids, like, we have to be the role model. And you're right, it does pass down.
Right. I want her to see that her mom's always like worked for everything she's had, and no one's just handed me anything. I've always worked for everything I've got, and that I want her to see that you don't ever need anybody to do anything. Like, you can have anything in this whole world that you want. If you're working for it and you strive for it, you can be successful.
And though, you also deserve someone who loves you, that you can lean on,
right?
A supportive man. I mean, because you remind me of me and my mindset back then. I was like, I can do everything myself.
I know.
I don't need anyone. Da, 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 da. And then now I'm in my 40s after a lot of therapy and realized, wait, I deserve someone.
Right. I feel like that's something that I've came to the conclusion of, is that I understand I want to be Superwoman all the time for my daughter and for myself. As a woman, it makes you feel so empowered to know
in survival mode.
Right. To know you don't need anyone for anything. But my doctor, like my main physician that I go to, just like my family doctor, I talk to him about a lot of stuff, and he's like, it's okay to ask people for help, and it's okay for people to help you. And I just feel like, I don't know, I've always felt like shameful. I've never wanted to ask anyone for help. And I feel like now I'm kind of in that mindset where I'm like, it's normal. It's okay. You can ask people for help when you get overwhelmed and when you're stressed. Like, that's okay, because it takes a village to raise a child, not one person alone. So that's something I'm kind of working on. I'm just a really protective mom. Like, I'm super protective over my kids. So I'm like, ugh, it's a lot for me to trust people, without me being there, because I feel like I know how to protect my kid, and I feel like no one in the world knows how to keep her safe like I know,
Trust me. I think every mom listening goes, girl, we understand
yes.
that. And then you realize, what? By asking for help, it actually makes those people feel empowered.
Right.
And I think a lot of your life circumstances, I've seen you reach out for help with your mom and get turned down, or she's flaked. So you've been burned also. Yeah.
And I also hate when people, like, I feel like anytime you ask someone for help or anything, it's like, I don't like when anyone can throw shit up in my face and be like, oh, well, I did this for you, or I hate that. That's one thing I do not like. So I'm like, don't fucking do that. Like, if I ask you for help, I want it to be someone that is like, yes, I would, like, wants to do it out of the kindness of their own heart. Like, I have a few friends that are like, great. I mean, if I want them to come over, I'm having a bad day, or like, I need a little help with Chloe, I got to clean up the house or anything. I know that there's friends that genuinely want to do it. There's people that I have that want to do it. So I feel like I have to kind of just weed those people out, the people that actually want to be there because they want to be there, and not the people that feel like an obligation. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because they're family.
100%. What worries you the most
about
life?
Nothing. I feel like I came to this point where I'm just like, whatever happens, happens. If I handle my shit and take care of my daughter, I'll be fine. So everybody else, I mean, get your shit together. Because, I mean, you're either going to fly or fall flat on your ass.
So basically, you're living in the present moment.
Right. I'm going to stop dwelling. I feel like I constantly worry, and I get a lot of anxiety about worrying about other people. And I have a lot of empathy for my family members and for Sean and for all these people I have in my life, to the point where I stress myself out and have anxiety because of what other people are going through, because I always try to put myself in their shoes. But I feel like a lot of people kind of put their self in their own position, and then I feel almost like a type of guilt when I see them suffering, which is something I feel like I empathize way more than people empathize with me. So I feel like I have to kind of cut that off and stop feeling so bad for people that put their self where they're at, and kind of just move on.
Girl, you sound so wise for a person being on this show.
You were like, how old are you? I'm like,
I know
23.
it's true though, but those are really wise words, you know, and it sounds like you're a little bit of an empath. You take stuff on. And have you heard the word codependency before?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that's something that I had to work. It took me 20 years. So hopefully you can, speed that up. But
right.
that is a lot of like, oh my God, I feel the guilt of needing to take care of everybody.
Right. I feel like I am like that. Like, I feel like I've been like that for so long that I feel like I have to keep doing stuff, and now I'm just like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, I'm not happy because I'm always stressed out. And I'm like, you know what'll make me happy? Just taking care of myself and stop worrying about everybody else all the time. I feel like I put too much on my plate, and I feel like, honestly, me being stressed out, I do it to myself. I got to stop doing it to myself. I got to take care of myself.
It's those thoughts that we have about other people. Like, wait a minute, I'm spending all this energy worrying about other people.
And I'm a dum-dum. I think everybody else is so, like, empathetic, and everyone else is so caring, and everyone else is a bunch of shitheads. Can I say that on the radio?
Yes, you can.
Shitheads. That's what they are.
Yeah, you can say shitheads, because I get it. And, we have a lot of listeners who can empathize with having, especially parents, where they don't know how to make boundaries with them. Right. And if you're feeling guilty and empathizing with them, but they also have an addiction problem, how the hell do you manage that boundary?
Right. It's hard. It's different for every situation. I feel like that's why I came on the show, because people sit and criticize me, like, oh my God, your family's a shit show, your life's a shit show, like, you should be ashamed, you're a bad mom, like, all this junk. But I feel like what I do is I go on TV and I show what real life is, because this is real life. There's so many people in the world that relate to my story, that understand it, and I'm like, I'm showing real life. I mean, we're not on here like faking and acting like everything's okay, like a lot of people do on social media, and act like everything in their life's perfect. Like, that is bullshit, because it's not perfect. Everyone has fucked up lives, and I guess I'm the only one that's cool enough to put my shit on blast. I don't know. But I'm like, at this point, I'm like, I don't give a shit what people think. I feel like I do it for the people that need it, like the people that appreciate it, and the people that, like, all the women out here that don't want to feel so alone and feel like they're doing everything on their own. Like, there's other women out here doing it, and you have to keep pushing forward.
Well, that's what I agree. Like, you can relate to your story because you're being so open and honest about it. And that's where I'm noticing, like, you're saying that you're really good at making boundaries with friends that, are negative or toxic, but you might have a little bit more of a problem with making boundaries for your family.
Right. And that's something I have to work on.
In your head, you're like me, like, well, it's family.
Right.
Family, no matter what, to stick together.
Right. And I've learned that's not true. Yeah. Like, it's just because I know family members that I've cut off that are completely, horrible, disgusting people. And I know friends that I've been friends with for just a few years that have been there for me way more than people in my family that have known me 23 years. So I'm like, it doesn't necessarily make you family, doesn't mean they have to stay around. And I feel like I came to that conclusion, like, just because you're my family doesn't mean I need you here. And just because you're not my family doesn't mean you don't belong here with me.
Have you been able to get closer to your mom?
Yeah, me and my mom we've always been like, we can share stuff with each other without necessarily like judgment, I guess. I feel like me and her it's like some days we have a good relationship, some days we have a bad relationship. So, it's like, watch my show. Let's see where we're at then. Who knows? Who knows where we'll be at after that? I don't know. I'm like, I don't know.
Do you feel like you can count on her?
I don't really count on anybody. I feel like I just count on myself, I don't like being disappointed.
So you just take it on all on yourself. I can't wait to interview you in 20 years from now. When you found the love of your life and he takes care of you. I mean, you're in this mode that you have to be in right now. You have to be in warrior mode. I mean, I get it. I live that life. I was a single mom. I'm like, I can do it my fucking self. Da, da, da.
Right.
And then by the time I get to therapy in my 40s, my therapist was like, you can take your armor off now.
Right. I go to my doctor, and my doctor was like, can you please go to therapy? And I was like, why, are you sick of me crying in this fucking office every month or what? And he's like, yeah, like, go to therapy. He was like, you come in here and literally spill your guts out every month. Because I'm like, I don't really talk to anybody like that. I feel like I kind of keep things in and keep it pushing. And he's like, you have to talk to people. Like, it's okay to be vulnerable. And I'm like, I know that. Like, I feel like I'm vulnerable sometimes, but certain times I feel like I kind of tug things away and just kind of keep it moving. But I feel like when things happen or things hurt, it's hard for me to talk about them or accept them initially. Like, I gotta let things almost set in a little bit before I start to discuss them with other people. So I feel like that's just my healing process.
I get that, and I will suggest, not that you want to hear from an old person like me, but I mean, therapy, honestly, it's saved me, because it does help to have someone talk about it, because it does help you process it.
It does,
and having a third party that doesn't know anyone else, you know what I mean?
Right, and then I like also hearing someone else say, I'm right, it feels good. You're like, you're right, and I'm like, thank you, all these motherfuckers are crazy, I'm right, okay. Just making sure, I'm like, write that down.
True. I can tell you right now, you're right.
Like, you're
all
right.
these
I'm
situations.
like, thank you.
You know, obviously when the show starts, you're not new to TV, but Teen Mom cast members have gone after each other on social media before. How do you plan on handling that?
I mean,
do you feel like you have to just defend yourself if they come after you?
No, I don't need to answer to anybody.
Do you answer to trolls?
No, I mean, sometimes like, if someone says, sometimes people say, like, the stupidest shit, and, like, I'll say, like, I'm not going to sit and argue with someone, but I've just commented back here and there about things that are just completely just dumb. But usually, like, the people that watch my show and all my supporters, you know, will go on there and tear people a new ass. So I'm like, I usually don't have to do anything. Like, people defend me naturally, I feel like. So I'm like, I feel like I don't have the time either. And obviously, if you're that, I mean, you follow me, you comment. If you hate, you can't hate me that much. You know, if you're watching the show.
Exactly. And people just project whatever mood they're in.
Right. And I feel like people always, it's just like people always, what do you call it? Like, misery loves company, you know? I feel like that's 100%. How it is a lot. So I feel like people that feel a certain way about themselves, they want to make other people feel that way, or people are miserable, they want everyone else to be miserable. But I feel like you can tell the people that are happy with their lives because they're promoting your happiness. And
correct.
Those are the good people. That's why I do it.
I taught my son, it's called passing the yuckies. I go, people feel yucky, so they want to pass their yuckies.
Right, yeah.
And I said, if you believe it, then you catch their yuckies.
Right.
So don't believe it, because they're just trying to pass them off to you.
Yeah.
Speaking of passing stuff off, I mean, how has seeing all that your mom has gone through impacted you as a mother to your daughter?
I've learned a lot. I know that the woman that I am for my daughter is someone that I would be truly blessed to have as a mother myself. I feel like I always aspire to be the mom that I would love to have growing up and that I could look up to. And I feel like growing up, my mom was very hardworking. She went to school like multiple times. She has multiple degrees, very intelligent, always outspoken. And I feel like that's how I am with her. I've raised her very similar, but also with a sense of humbleness and boundaries, and know that necessarily just because something is true, you don't have to say it out loud, because that's my mom. My mom can't keep her goddamn mouth shut for shit. So every time she says something, I'm like, you could have just not said that, because now you're just coming off as a bitch. So I'm like, some things you should say and you should state your opinion, and other things, sometimes you just have to, keep your mouth shut and
have a voice, but be mindful.
Right. Yeah. So I feel like I kind of teach her like that. And I also keep her really in the loop, like, educationally, and make sure she is like ahead of her time. I like her to be really smart, because I was always really smart in school. And school was so easy to me. And I know a lot of people that struggled in my family with school. And I was like, I want to make sure she's always really smart and doesn't have to worry about struggling with grades or worrying about anything at home. Or I know I worried a lot when I was little about things going on at home, or, bills being paid or things like that I would worry about. And I want my kid to be a kid and not have to worry about anything like that. Like, that's something that you handle as a mom, and your kids shouldn't ever think about it. Jade,
you sound like such a good mom.
Oh, thanks.
I mean, I'm sure we all have our moments. Trust me, I talk about mine all the time.
Oh my gosh,
you know what?
yes.
You're trying real hard. You did mention on a podcast that you had gone through some major trauma in your childhood. How do you how do you heal from that? How do you make sure that that doesn't get repeated?
I feel like you have to go through, I guess accepting things for how they are and not looking back wishing things were different, because I feel like you wish things are different, it will never let you accept and heal what you have been through initially. So I feel like everything I've been through in life, I feel like you have to go through everything. I feel like everything's meant to happen the way it's supposed to happen. So I feel like everything I've went through has made me the person I am today, the strong woman and mother that I am today. So I feel like I don't regret anything. If anything, I'm grateful because I can take even the bad stuff. I can take it as a learning experience instead of being like, oh my God, I wish this didn't happen. It was horrible. It happened, so it's like you can't change it. So how about we make it something positive, like, okay, well, at least this happened, and now I know next time, or now I know, like, when my kid's this age or anything like that, I can learn from it and and prosper, I guess.
I think one of the things too that touched my heart and made it sad, it was like, oh, when you were younger, like wondering when your parents were coming home, like that feeling of, are they going to come home? Where are they? That kind of concern when you were younger, the worries that you had way too young as a child.
I guess my parents they just had a lot going on because they were kind of younger when they had me. But I mean, I spent time with my parents, but I really liked being with my mamaw. I spent a lot of time with my mamaw, and I feel like that was kind of like my safe space, like where I was happy. And also, I mean, she spoiled the shit out of me, so she gave me whatever I want. I could be a little brat, and she was like, whatever. My mom that wasn't flying with my mom, so I loved being at my mamaw's.
Jade Cline, I'm so happy for you. I think you're a great new addition to the show. MTV's Teen Mom 2 premieres tomorrow, you guys, at 8 p.m. on MTV.
Oh my God, it's tomorrow?
I know, it's tomorrow.
Crazy.
Congratulations, girl, and come
Thank
back
you.
anytime to promote. I'm really looking forward to you graduating and seeing what you do next.
All right, awesome. It was nice talking to you.
You too, keeping that juggernaut that you are. We'll be right back.
Jenny McCarthy Show. Oh!